Oh, okay. So
I got you in there.
we're having some technical difficulties, but we'll start with our service.
Yay! You're on now.
Oh, I am?
Yay.
Hello, live streamers. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will begin with Shalom Aleichem on page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Baruch Uni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Tzeitkhem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai, Nanai, Yananai. We continue on page 10 with Yedid Nefesh, what I call our love song to God. Yedid Nefesh, Amarach Haman, Meshor Avdach, El Retzonach, Yalutz Avdach, Kemo Hayah, Yishtachaveh, Mul Hadarach, Ki Erev Lo, Yedidu we move through our Kabbalat Shabbat, these songs of welcoming in Shabbat, at the bottom of page 14 at the carrot, we'll sing Yismechu. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, B'tagel ha'aretz, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, B'tagel ha'aretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo'o, 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 Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel ha'aretz. Ya'alov sadar v'chol asher bo, ziranenu kol atzei ya'ad, lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot ha'aretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim be'emunato. Let's move to page, where should we move to? Let's move to page 20. Again, at the carrot at the bottom of the page. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehad kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehad kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehad kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'nishtachavu lehad kodsho. I actually love this meditation on page 22. We're in the left-hand column, not the column, but on the left-hand side in the English, it's the text of Anna Bakoach, which is, Anna is like a plea to God, Bakoach. So we're pleading for God to give us His strength, to give us God's strength. So let's read it in, if you would indulge me. Let's read responsively in the English on page 22. If you would, may your mighty right hand undo the knot that ties us up. Accept the prayers of your people. You who are revered, raise us up, cleanse us. Almighty, if you would, guard as the apple of your eye those who seek your unity. Bless them, cleanse them, have compassion on them, always act justly towards them. Mighty Holy One, in your abundant goodness, guide your people. Alone exalted, turn to your people who invoke your holiness. Listen to our pleas, hear our cries, knowing the hidden depths within us. Praise be the name of the one whose glorious sovereignty is forever and ever. We continue now with Lechadodi on page 23. And let me see what melody is going to come to my Rolodex right now. No, this is like, I look at some text and it's like, because there are like so many melodies, right? I have a good one. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shachor zachor v'dibur echad, hishmiyanu el am yuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet. ראי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבת בעמק הפכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. הנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בידי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בן הלחמי, קורבן אל נפשי גאלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דהרי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקמי, מה תשכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר אל תילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ינני, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Page 25, והילים שישה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלעייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס חתן על כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על יד איש בן ארצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. We're thinking about you, Robert Young, your family, as you are thinking about your mother-in-law, the loss of Elaine Jacobson. And to you, we say, המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שאר אבלי ציון בירושלים. When we don't know what to say, our text tells us, we say this to you. May the divine comfort you along with all the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We come to page 27, our psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir, I'm page 27. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid b'boker chastecha, ve'emunatcha b'leilot. Zahadik katama yifrach ke'eretz bavanon yizgesh tulim beveit Adonai v'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yinehun b'seva d'shenim v'rananim yiru lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avla tavo. Page 29. Adonai malach gehud lavecha v'Adonai osi basat v'tikon v'davot timot. מקולות מים רבים אדירים משברי המדיר במרום אדוני עדותיך נאמרו מאוד לביתך נבע קודש אדוני לאורך ימים. As we conclude our Kabbalat Shabbat, these psalms of welcome, we come to a mourner's Kaddish on page 30. For those who have a yard site, who are in their year of mourning, I invite you to rise. Yit gadal ve'yit kadash shemei Rabbi ve'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman karib v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbi barach le'alam u'lalmei maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh Yithadar, Yithaleh, Yithalal, Shmei Kedusha, V'Ruchu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechamata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshev v'imru, amen. You may be seated. We take a little break now between Kabbalat Shabbat and Ma'ariv, our evening service. And first I want to say hi to all of those who are joining us on live stream and chat. I hope, it seems like you've been in Tucson for a bit, so I hope you're starting to feel better and starting to mend soon. Yes, so there was a meme that went around earlier this week that said, Gen Xers had a really rough week. And it was a picture of 4 people. It was Shelley Duvall, it was Richard Simmons, it was Dr. Ruth, and Shannon Doherty. All of them passed away this last week, okay? And, you know, it made me laugh because it was like, it's true. These are people who really marked pieces of my upbringing. And a friend of mine was saying she didn't remember Shelley Duvall. Of course, I went for The Shining, which I affectionately call The Shinning. Don't ask. And my friend said, fairy tale theater, how could you have forgotten that? And then I had like this whoosh of, oh my gosh, fairy tale theater. Do you guys remember that one? Jim Henson. And she would read stories, and they would be acted out by the puppets. And she hosted it. And she was fabulous. I just remember like so distinctly her eyelashes, right? Because they were always so 60s with the... So I was thinking about her, and then Richard Simmons, oh my goodness, went into the oldies, how could you like not? So, and then Shannon Doherty, don't even get me started on 90210 and Charmed. I had straight up sessions. Charmed got me through college, don't even ask. But the person I wanted to land on and think about really was Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth Westheimer. She was an incredible woman. I always had an idea of how amazing she was, but there was a beautiful, I think it was, could have been the Washington Post. There was a really beautiful not obituary, but it was an article about her. It was an article about, that sort of like started, it was a really beautiful article about her. And there was stuff about her childhood that I did not remember and that something that I did not know. So I'm gonna give you a rundown. This woman had an incredible 96 years of life. I wish it could have been Ad Me'ave Stream to 120. So she was born in Germany, in Bavaria specifically, and in 1928. So when the Nazis started coming into power in the 38, her parents had foresight, and they sent her to Switzerland to learn, while they stayed behind with an elderly grandparent and family. It saved her life. And unfortunately, her family was wiped out. So after the war, what did she do? Does anybody know where she ended up? She went to Palestine. She went to Palestine, right? And not only did she go to Palestine, she served in the Haganah. She was a partisan. She was 17 years old, 4'7", and she was trained as a sniper. What? And I'm just thinking of, I met Dr. Ruth when I was probably 9 or 10 in an elevator, and I just remember being so confused how someone my size could look that old. Like, I just didn't understand. And to think that she didn't grow anymore, probably had shrunk at that point, but to think that this 17-year-old girl with no family left Switzerland to go to Palestine and was trained as a sniper in the army. That alone, the bio could have ended there, and I would have been. So what happened then? She only served for 3 years, because what happened to her, she got, during shelling, and when she was, there was some bombing in Jerusalem during a battle, she almost lost both of her feet. And she was really wounded, but she ended up being okay. And after that, she came to the United States. Do you know what she did in the United States? Again, probably like 20 years old or 21 years old, because it was after the war. She worked as a maid. She worked as a maid in people's houses, paying her way through school. And then, I don't know how, but she started landing radio shows. And in 1959, I think it was in the 1950s, she started on radio. But it wasn't until the 80s, the early 80s, 1980 specifically, when she got her television show also. And that's when she became the Dr. Ruth that many of us, at least definitely I, grew up knowing. Forever looking a little bit older than she probably was. In my head, she always looked like she was a million years old in my head. I was a kid, right? So she came onto the scene to talk about sex when nobody was talking about that, right? In the bedroom, proper ways of discoursing with each other, like how to increase intimacy. And the reason why it worked was because she was 4'7", and because she was at that point in her 50s. And so she was able to take something that was so taboo to talk about, and not just put it on the airwaves, but also to put it on television. And they think that her success was because she was such an unassuming, she was not an intimidating figure. It was basically like learning about sex from she always looked like an elderly grandmother. I'm so sorry, but she did. She always looked like, so to have her talking about these things, and people really opening up about their intimacy to her, she mainstreamed something, she brought something to light that really wasn't done before. She took something that was taboo and she brought it to the forefront as something that was really vitally important for our existence as human beings. It goes along with the story of how we communicate with each other. And in this article that I read, she was quoted as saying, I knew I wanted to make a mark on the world. I knew I wanted to do something that would influence and help people. I never thought that this would be it. Like this, she's like, I never thought that this would be the method in which I did. And I'm just struck by her. I was so struck by her and that kind of unassuming bravery. And her bravery, I mean, not just her physical bravery as a child facing the adversity that she did, but her bravery, her chutzpah-dickiness, right? She was chutzpah-dickin, you know, to take these subjects and to bring them to the forefront. To tell women and men that it's okay to want pleasure, and it's okay to pursue these things, and having intimacy with your partner is important. And she was known for addressing questions from anyone. Anyone would call in, no judgment whatsoever. And she did everything with humor and with a smile. I'm thinking about her this week, you know, just again, this sort of like bright light, and thinking about how, you know, I keep coming back to this idea of her being only 4'7", and how someone so seemingly so little and unassuming was so much larger than life and was able to do this. What was that? She was a great lady. She was an incredible lady. She was, you know, she studied psychology at the Sorbonne in the early 50s. Not a lot of women were doing that, right? Not a lot of women were doing that. And psychology in general, really psychoanalysis was what people did. So psychology, psychiatry was sort of a little bit more like in the ether, a little bit more, interestingly enough, it was considered a little bit more flighty. I know because my father taught me about his journey in the 60s to become a psychiatrist, which was apparently fraught. So, I just keep coming back to her, and you know, to read about her and her accomplishments and her likeness, at the same time that it seems like such chaos has been going on, has been, in a way, was actually very stabilizing. It was very helpful for me to take a break from what can be such scary and terrifying news, and to really look at a person who went through scary and horrible things and how she came to triumph. And in her triumph, how she was able to really bring us all along with her. And so that's sort of my little eulogy for you, Dr. Ruth. You know, your memory will be a blessing, you will be an inspiration, and I'm going to now go back and probably look at some of those little TV shows and try to find some of the things that she wrote that were just so beautiful. And another thing that she said, that she was informed by a lot of her Jewish values, and that's a lot of that humanity was brought to that forefront. So that is just what I wanted to share with you, where my mind has been this week. Just remember that even the littlest things can make the biggest differences. And we'll continue, like Dr. Ruth, to try to be that positive shine in our world. Because I think we kind of do that. Like Harmony, you're that positive shine in our world, girl. You're welcome. We will continue with our evening service on page 39. I enjoy looking at 39b. You are welcome to look at 39a. 39a is the traditional text, and 39b is a more of an interpretive understanding of this particular tefillah, of this particular blessing for our evening. We rise on page 39. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Baruch Adonai Elohim melech haolam, Umavir yom umevi layla, Mavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamihim lo chaleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ari v'aravim. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah mitzvot, Mishpat motam v'tzareta. Ki הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, בהם נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue to ourselves, והיה עם שמות שבו יצמחים. We continue on page 44. ומלכותו ורצון קיבלו עליהם משה מרים ובני ישראל, וכאנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם יאי נאי 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 On page 45, we have our, I call it, I've heard it called Peace in the Night. That's what one of the calls, or a prayer for good night's sleep. I had a colleague that called it that, which I thought was very sweet. Hashkivenu. So let's read this one together in the English. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. We rise on page 46. 6 for the Shamru. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledor kaberit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledor kaberit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam, oti leolam, veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledor kaberit olam. Ki sheshet yamim, asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledor kaberit olam. Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, veshamru b'nei Yisrael kaberit olam. Yitgadal ve'yit Yamlich malchutei v'chayekho ba'agala ubizman kaya yitbarach ve'ishtabach ve'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata da'amira me'alma v'imru Amen. On page 47, we come to our Amidah Balachash, our evening Amidah, which is done quietly. You are welcome to use the words on the page, beginning on page, and we run through about page 53, or you can. This is an opportunity for your own conversation with the divine. You feel free to use the words of your heart as well. Nice. prayer now for healing, thinking of those in our community, our friends, our family who are in need of those healing prayers. If you'd like to look at the words of the Debbie Friedman's Mishabera, it's on page 173, all the way to the left-hand column. I was very excited to find the words. Mishabera chavotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. The Shabbat, we are thinking of Yenta Gittel, Bat Hinda, Shmaya HaKohen, Nachum ben Moshe Chana Rivka, Hershel Shalom ben Anshel, Ruth bat Sima, Elka Adol bat Bella, Mordechai ben Ruth, David ben Elisheva, Scott Tucker, Marlene Tucker, Chaim Melech ben Ephraim, Abraham ben Meir, Moshe ben Rael, Judy Zola, Zalman Tzvi ben Abba Herschel, Yehudit bat Yocheved, Yitzchak Halevi ben Miriam, Vicky Bird, Matt Farber, Mordechai ben Rachel, Hesse bat Braina, Annette Ruotolo, Malka Deborah bat Chana Shifra, Yehuda Braun, Toba Gela bat Chaya, Neil Rosenblum, Harav Masha Rachel bat Goldalea, Issa ben Miro, Daniel Ivory, Penny L ben Sarah, Shena bat Nisan, Eileen Martin, Yankel Hirsch ben Malka, Tova Tikva bat Ruth, Cyril Rashka bat Chaya Peril, Aharon ben Lisa, Yael bat Chaya Sora, Eliezer Leib ben Sarah Elka, Jenny Eisenberg, Philip Eisenberg, Nissam ben Fredel, Ruben ben Chaya Riva, Esther bat Yevat Liva, Michael Donahue, Leon Levine, Shoshana Sharon bat Chana, Shmuel Delvul ben Dvora, Chaya Dvora, Chuck Brannick, Meir David ben Breindl, Rivka Shendel bat Chana, Shalom ben Pesel, Chaim Michael ben Yocheved, Eliyahu David ben Yehudit Chana, Barak ben Bracha. Are there others whose names you'd like to say out loud? Or you're welcome to do so. We think of them, they're caretakers, and we send them truly our wishes for a quick and speedy healing. Mishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Refuah shalema. We rise for Aleinu on page 56. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, am I? Yeah, we haven't done Kaddish Shalom. You're right, we should, but we haven't in a long time. Okay, no, but thank you.
What's Kaddish Shalom?
No worries. It's a whole other teaching and discussion of the uses of Kaddish. Don't even go there. It was like a whole year of learning in Cantor. You know there are like 20 different melodies for Kaddish depending on where and when it falls. On the calendar, in your prayer book. Okay. Aleinu. Aleinu l'shavos anu kigoyei haratzot le'lohon samanu dama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem nukorim umishpachotim lifnei melech malkei hamlachim. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו we come to our final morning. At this time, July 20th to July 26th, which corresponds to the 14th to the 20th of Tammuz, we are thinking of these members of our community, their family who has passed away in years past at this time. Solomon Weinsweig, father of David Weinsweig; Edna Schwartz, mother of Ed Schwartz; Edward Groff, grandfather of Frank Jacobson; Esther Jagerman, mother of Helen Locke, grandmother of Sherry Locke and Jessica Locke; Helene Hers, grandmother of Jeffrey Hers; Joseph Brody, Jed, your dad; Annette Gattell, Stephen Gattell's mother; Mary Jagerman, grandmother of Helen Locke; Joel Schwartz, father of Mark Schwartz; Clara Jekyll, mother of Peter Jekyll; Leah Schaefer, grandmother of Robin Wolfe; Ralph Goldstein, grandfather of Allison Feinberg; Solomon Rabinovich, brother of Elliot Rabinovich; Simon Volk, grandfather of Naomi Goodell; Albert Firestone, Susan Portnoy's father; Evelyn Weisberg, Sammy Schwartz's grandmother; Frida Wolf, mother-in-law of Steve Schlosser; Max Borax, father of Carol Sapin-Chasen; Pauline Rosenbaum, mother of Stephen Rosenbaum; Rolf Lang, father of Frank Lang and grandfather of Penny Lang; and Ada Getty Laufer, grandmother of Veronica Lang. Are there others whose yard sites are being observed that I didn't say? For those who are observing their yard site or their year of mourning, I invite you to rise for the Kaddish on page 58. I also offer that if there are those who want to stand in solidarity with those who are in mourning, you are welcome to do so. Page 58. It Gadal, It Kadash, Shemei Rabba, Be'alma, Divra, Kirute, Miamlik, Malchute, Bechayechon, Ubyomechon, Chaye, Techol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Bisman Karim, Yimru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba Barach, Le'alam Kulameh Maya. Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yit'ahar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yit'aleh, V'yit'alal, Shmei Kudshav, V'yivlu. Le'ela Mikol Birchata Shirata, Tushbechata V'nechamata, Ta'amiran Me'alma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Rabba, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'yimru, Amen. It's that time, folks. Announcements, announcements, announcements. All right, we're inviting Jennifer Brown, one of our new members of the board, to please be careful as she comes to give announcements.
No more walking boot for me.
Oh my goodness, maybe you should have worn flats though, you're making me nervous.
I did, you know, I'm not here to keep you on your toes, Cantor. What am I here for? Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Thank you, Cantor Rubinstein, for leading our Kabbalah Shabbat services beautifully as always. Thank you, Madam Marie Jones, for your technical assistance. Perfection. Have you made your gift of the heart pledge? If not, please go to our website, click on membership, renew, or click the button in the most recent e-bulletin, or if nothing else, call the shul and ask for Pam.
That always works.
That always works. Wilcott is going to be holding their second Mahjong game day on Thursday, July 25th at 1:30 p.m. in the social hall. You can tell someone goes a little crazy for that over here. There is no charge, but you do need to register. That is required. So just go to otaz.org/maj to register. Families with littles will be getting together to splash, play, stay cool, and make new friends on Sunday, August 4th at 9 a.m. at the Valley of the Sun JCC. See the bulletin or the calendar for information and to sign up for that. I didn't think we had a lot of announcements. I was clearly mistaken.
Some of them are a little, is there a meal break?
Yeah. Okay. The Roz Goodell Religious School will hold an open house on Sunday. This is going to be Sunday, August 11th at 10 a.m. Families can meet their teachers and see their classrooms. You can also go to register for that on the website. Save the date. Our annual Martini Night Gala is on March 1st, 2025, which is freakishly, closer than we think it is.
Stop it.
It's going to be, I can't help it, it's going to be honoring Mitch Ross, Allison and Michael Feinberg, and Rita and Steve Schlosser. Lots more details to come as we get closer to that. Finally, save the date for 2024 Midbar Youth Turnaround Trip to Disneyland. August 30th, 31st, September 2nd. You can also RSVP for that on our website. And then make sure, if you haven't noticed already, our bulletin, the website, that's where you go for the info. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Now, if you are not a youth, but you want to go on this trip, I am sure that they need chaperones. Trip to Disneyland. Sometimes then maybe we shouldn't discuss that. Maybe you shouldn't go on the turnaround trip. Yeah, so thank you for offering those announcements. Actually, we deleted pages 2 and 3, so you're lucky you only got one page.
Short and sweet.
Exactly. So we now conclude our services with Kiddush, which you can find on page 55. And I invite you to rise if that is your custom. And if you feel like popping a squat, I'm not going to be upset about that either. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushav b'mitzvotav v'atzavanu, b'shabbat kadsho v'nehama uvratzo imchilanu, zikaro lema'aseh bereishit. Yom Teviah Lemigrei Kodesh, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. Imanu Acharta, Ve'otanu Kidashta, Mikol Ha'amim, V'sharat Kodeshecha, Hope to see you. Thank you for joining us on live stream. Please join us tomorrow morning at 9:30 as the Shabbat fun continues. Shabbat Shalom, hey! Shabbat Shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, stay cool. Shabbat Shalom, let's don't move. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat.